Hello, it's Amy from Be Healthy Enough. Do you have questions about bone health? Yes, you do. This is a supplemental video from the last live bone building workout I did maybe an hour ago. My heart is full. Bone building is on top of your mind. I can tell because we had over 100 people sign up for this free live workout. In fact, I'm going to leave the link. I'll leave a little tab or it'll be below to that live workout. I'm going to be uploading it onto YouTube pretty soon. I'll have it uploaded by the time you watch this one. But at the end of that workout, I got so many great questions. I thought, I'm going to go back and film a very informal, I'm using my laptop or my desktop and not my fancy camera. I hardly have any makeup on, but this is so important. I want to get it out as quick as possible because I know if they had these questions, you might too. And if you're watching this, I promised I would get you answers some questions I just didn't have time to get at, or I didn't have the knowledge right at my fingertips. All right, so the first question I got, question number 1, are vibration plates good for bone density? And so ironic, I'm going to head over to my computer. I just uploaded a video right here, vibration plates worth the hype, where I stepped through all of the data and the science and the studies around vibration plates. And I'm going to give you the spoiler alert. For bone density, they're not the best thing unless you do it at the right, make sure I get this right, at the right frequency and amplitude. So you can change the frequency and how fast they're vibrating and how hard and high the vibration frequency and shock is. But you have to have that at the right amount for the right amount of time and the right amount of days. And it can take days, like every day doing this to elicit the things that you need for a bone building event. That said, vibration plates are still very helpful for circulation, some lymphatic. If anybody's telling you they detox you, run away. It's all marketing hype. If they're saying you have to have this for bone density, no, you do not. This alone will not improve your bone density. You need to be doing walking, light impact, strength training, looking at your nutrition, working with your doctor, looking at everything else that could be impacting your bone density. But vibration plates alone, spoiler alert, are not going to cut it. I love that one. You can watch that video. I'll leave that I did. I'll leave that link below. If they come out with more studies, could be that there's just a lack of studies, the science to back it all. I will definitely come back and eat my words. But right now, it's more. It's an and function, not vibration plates will fix your bone density. Okay, next question. All right, this takes a little bit of a background. So I had my first bone density, a DEXA scan, when I was 58. That was in 2020. And I did that paid out of pocket. I was taking courses on osteoporosis and menopause fitness. I did a risk assessment on the risk factors. If you want to take a risk assessment as well, I'll put the link below. I can't put it here, it's not a video. It walks you through all of the risk factors of having osteoporosis. I had a lot of them. European descent, my mom had osteoporosis, thin bones, some other things. And I almost cried at 58. I had osteopenia. It was low, it wasn't osteoporosis yet, but man, I was doing, I thought, all the right things. I was running, I was strength training, I was probably not eating right, but I was doing all the things I thought I should be doing, and let alone my bone density was not as perfect. I didn't get an A+, it was practically a C. Anyway, so then I got another bone density test. I got breast cancer in 2023, and part of that protocol is they give you a bone density test because they're going to be giving you some things that will impact your bone density. So they need that other baseline. Now that from 2020 to 2023 stayed pretty much the same. It didn't get any better, but it didn't get any worse. Okay. Then in 2025, 2 years later, my bone density went down. I had lost about 6% of my spine and 4% in my hips. So I talked about this in my webinar or my workout. I was talking about my experience. And one woman said, Did you say your DEXA scan got worse? Isn't exercise helping? And let me clear that up. I love that because a lot of women get that DEXA scan and they think they're doing everything right. But here's the thing. There are so many factors that go into our DEXA scan results. Even and on top of that, the measurement itself might not, if you're using a different tool, a different technician, a different site, your measurement results could be different. What I want to say is that my results from 2020 to 23 stayed the same, which was a win for me. We start to lose bone density when we hit our 30s as we start losing our estrogen. So me not having it go down and just stay flat, that was a win. So I was doing a lot of the right things. When it got worse, I was doing the wrong things, and one of those was a medication to help my cancer from coming back. It is known to make you lose bone density. It blocks all your estrogen, for me, all the progesterone, and it actually depletes bone density. It gets rid of some of that. So it's not osteoporosis yet, but yes, you can be doing everything right, but if you're taking medications and doing some other things, it can definitely go down. So yes, I did lose that, but I'm going to take a minute and look at my notes, make sure I have this right. We still have to be doing everything we can, and the big things are the 3 pillars that I talk about in the webinar. If you watch that workout, I'm calling it webinar because I snuck in some knowledge, but we have to keep doing the 3 pillars, making sure that we're fighting losing any more bone through good nutrition. And that was the other thing a couple years ago I was not doing. I was not getting enough calcium because I was trying to be skinny, not strong. I was not getting enough vitamin D. My vitamin D levels were in range, but they were low. I wasn't getting enough protein. I wasn't doing all the things as pillars. I was doing the right exercise, but maybe not enough of the right exercise. I wasn't lifting as heavy as I could. I wasn't getting some impact. I had stopped impact because my knees were hurting. So I wasn't doing all the right things, but I was doing the things. I am doing them now. I am balancing them out and looking at the medications I'm taking for my cancer. So it's not. I'm gonna go into a lot more of this because I know this definitely warrants a longer video because I know a lot of you think that you're doing everything right and your bone density still gets low. So I'll do another video, a longer one on that. All right, let me go back to the next question. There is so much conflicting information about what not to do if you have osteoporosis. So let me address that too. You get scared. You get that diagnosis of osteopenia or osteoporosis. You feel fine. Osteoporosis is a silent disease until you break a bone. So you feel fine and you get this horrible diagnosis and you think you need to wrap yourself in bubble wrap. Please don't do this. There's a couple things that you need to be careful of in thinking about, if you like to think about your spine. Your spine is the most sensitive spot on your body for osteoporosis, and your wrists and your hips. But the spine gets a lot of focus because it is such a key part of our body. I don't think we can do much without a spine, but a wrist or a hip, a little bit more. Anyway, so forward flexion, things you should not do or minimize is rounding of your spine. Think of your vertebra. Each little disc vertebra is stacked on top of each little disc. And when you fold forward, you're pressing those vertebrae against each other. And if you've got weak bones, you can get a vertebral fracture. Do you never do them? No, you go slowly. If you've been doing Pilates and yoga, fold forwards and crunches and things like that. No crunches, no more, you don't need them. But some of the forward folds and things like that you do in yoga, if you go slowly, they're less likely to be at a severe risk. If you've got severe osteoporosis of your spine, absolutely not. And no twisting under load. So twisting and then moves where you're twisting and picking up a weight, or deep twists or pigeon poses and things that are deep hip rotators. It doesn't mean you stop doing everything. In fact, that could be worse for you. Keeping the movement that you've been doing, just be mindful of doing things more slowly and looking at some of those those moves with a different eye, like crunches. You don't need crunches. I said that earlier. Roll-ups, rolling like a ball in Pilates, a pigeon pose I said already, reaching down and touching your toes. Look for some alternatives if you have osteoporosis. Osteopenia, less risk. No osteoporosis, go for it. It's good for your spine. Let's see. This is the one piece of, I want you to just focus on what you can do, not what you can't do. I want you to keep moving because motion is lotion and rest is rest for our aging bodies. Okay, next question. For bone health, do you recommend forearm plank or a full plank? And this has got a little bit of a twist. For bone health, the plank is not going to build bone, okay? What it's going to be doing is building your core, which will help support your body in that second pillar of creating a strong, resilient body. Now, there are some limitations and things you might want to look at when you're doing a plank. A full plank is when you're on your hands. And if you've got any wrist issues or shoulder issues, that might not be great for you. But then it is good for wrist, forearm, and shoulder stimulation. So if you're not having any problems, it might be good to mix it up and do a full arm plank versus a forearm plank. A forearm plank also works the core. I'd test it out and see which one is most challenging for you for your core, and that thinking about the plank is not bone building, but body supporting or core supporting, okay? And again, if you've got wrist issues, just go down on the forearm. I would say all of this, it just depends on you. The next one, what about hip strength? Do hip exercises help build bone? And I'm going to say yes for hip exercises because the hip bones are attached to our big muscles, our glutes, our quads, our hamstrings. And you are going to be, when you are doing glute work like a squat or a lunge or a bridge or a hip thrust, you are actually stimulating those big muscles and putting tension on the pelvis bones and the hip bones, which will help stimulate growth. Okay, an osteoblast. Watch my webinar or watch my lecture a little bit while we work out. Plus, strong hips help improve our balance and our posture. So all hip exercises are A+. Yes, 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 yes. The next question, number 4, I don't remember what question we're at. How do you feel about wearing ankle weights while doing housework? Okay, this is a 2-part question. Ankle weights, I love them. I just bought some at the last 2-time October, or no, I think it was June Prime Day deals. Ankle weights are great to add resistance to moves that you do in Pilates or standing side leg lifts, lying side leg lifts. I personally do not recommend them as a menopause and osteoporosis fitness specialist. I do not recommend them for daily moving around the house, taking a walk. Ankle weights can possibly throw off your gait. And when you throw off your gait, you can throw off and hurt your knees. And it also is putting pressure on your ankles and your knees. And then you can throw off your hips, throw off your shoulders. You can get a pain in your neck. Yep. Things you do with your feet below the knees can give you a neck ache because everything is all connected. So I don't recommend them for doing things around the house. You're just not going to walk normally, and you could possibly injure yourself. Use them for workouts. And the next question was weighted vests. And I'm going to go back to my YouTube channel because I just did a brand new video on our weighted vests, the secret to stronger bones. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. A couple months ago, I did a video on weighted vests and how good they are for your bones. But I'm taking that back a little bit. There's new studies, new science I found that weighted vests alone, it's just like the vibration plates. It's not just one thing. It's an and function, this and that. It's not this or that. So if you can't do strength training, wear a weighted vest and you're going to build your bones just the same way. It's not the case. Weighted vests are great for putting load on your body, which can help stimulate a bone building event. It definitely ups your cardio load. I wear my weighted vests when I walk up in the hills to get my cardio load higher with less effort, although it's a lot of effort. Weighted vests are great if, say, for instance, you can't hold heavier weights and you want to add a load for your lower body workouts like squats and lunges, deadlifts. Not so much deadlifts. I would not do a deadlift with a weighted vest. That'd be too hard on your back. But if you can't lift heavy weights with your hands, try a weighted vest to add that. I wouldn't walk around the house in them, daily activities. I'd use them specifically for when you're exercising because, and this is another, absolutely not unless you get permission from your doctor. If you have osteoporosis, be careful. You're putting weight on these clavicle bones right here, which are really small, and putting extra weight on there if you've got severe osteoporosis would be not a good thing to do. And posture issues, you've got to get one that fixes or fits right, because if it's making you fold forward, it's doing more harm than good. I found one that it's really comfortable. It actually pulls my shoulders back. All the details are in that YouTube video, and I'll link that there, and I'll also put the link below. Let me go back to my questions. Okay, what's the next questions? Rebounders. Do you know what a rebounder is? A lot of people didn't know what a rebounder was. You know those little mini trampolines that you see people jumping on? They're so much fun. And one woman asked, are rebounders good for your bones? And this always comes up because you see a lot of marketing hype on rebounders for building bone density. And they don't. Think about it. Your body needs 4.2. Dr. Wolfe, Julius Wolfe, a long time ago did a study and found that 4.2, he was pretty exact, weight against gravity, stimulation on bones for them to even wake up and go, I need to do bone building. When the astronauts are in space, they're not getting any load on their bones shut down because they don't need to build. When we do impact like heel drops, jumping, walking doesn't do it, cycling doesn't do it, elliptical doesn't do it, swimming doesn't do it, walking a little bit, running does a little bit more. Jumping and strength training get that enough impact to build bones. When you're on a trampoline, think about that. The trampoline is absorbing that shock, and so you're not getting that 4.2 times your body weight. That said, they're so much fun. And if you've got achy joints, they're better than doing nothing. The one caveat, they can be horrible if you fall off, and you can fall off easily. So get one that has a handle and be very, very careful. I had one and I got rid of mine because I was scared. I got to jumping real excitedly, blah, 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 and I fell. And you're going to break a bone. So in that sense, they're bad for your bones, okay? They're fun, but severe osteoporosis, balance challenges, the risks of falling definitely outweigh the benefits of that, man. I recommend simple heel drops where you bring your heels up and then have them bang on the ground a little bit, as long as it doesn't hurt your joints. Okay, this last one is going to be a doozy, and I might need another video for this one, but I promise I won't go into too much detail. I am going to, in advance, look at my notes because I want to get this right. A woman asked, which I had not heard of before, which I love, Trabecular Bone Score. You'll see it TBS. When you get a DEXA scan, you'll get a T-score, and that's measuring your bone density. A trabecular bone, you've got two types of bone in your body, trabecular and then cortical. And it's just a different shape of or texture and all makeup of your bones. But a trabecular bone score is fairly new, and they're doing it now to measure bone quality, not density. So this is how well connected and strong the inner lattice work of your bones is. Let me just break it down into maybe a summary that you understand. We're all familiar with bone density, okay? That's the bone mineral that you have. This next thing that's not talked about is bone quality. And this TBS is a score that you can get for that. There's also another way you can get bone quality testing. It's called REMS. I'm not going to remember what REMS stand for. I'll add it when I edit. REMS. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of people doing REMS. There's a company called Ecolite that I've reached out to, And I'm looking for one in California. They have some in Northern California, but not anything in California. It's an ultrasound of your bones, measuring your bone quality. And TBS seems to be the same way. It's how well organized the little scaffolding inside our bones is. It kind of helps, this TBS helps us peek at that scaffolding, or the microarchitecture of our spine. Instead of just looking at the density of our bone, we're looking at the structure. Does that make sense? If not, let me know. And you have to ask for it, okay? So you have to ask for that. Okay, that is it, I think. I think that's it. If you have a bone density question that comes up, you know where to find me. Just leave me a comment. I watch my comments and reply to them all the time. But first and foremost, the best thing you to do, keep moving, keep building muscle mass, which will help you build bone, which will also, but it also help you build a strong, resilient body to help you catch yourself, not if, but when we trip, because we all trip. Okay, and that is it. Have a fantastic day. Oh, wait. If you do want a little bit more, it can be very confusing on what strength training workouts to do, what bone building workouts to do. I've given you a free one where we combine a lot of bone building moves, not just strength, but impact, balance, and posture. If you want a lot more than that, and a simple step-by-step plan that you don't have to think about it, you need to join us in the Be Healthy Enough membership. I do new workouts all the time. Every month I have a new workout calendar with level 1 and level 2s that you can choose from. I do fun challenges to keep you motivated. I will leave the link to that below, and you can try it all free for 7 days. All right, now I'm gone. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.